two questions. I'll be quick. First one, can you imagine the feasibility of agreements for autonomous regions in two or more of the four countries that could then have some kind of formalized relationships even across the borders? Or might that be a way to try to break down the colonialist imposed boundaries that exist in that whole area? It's kind of a far off, distant, futuristic question, but I'm interested in it. And the second one is, as far as I know, Netanyahu's Israel was the only country that openly supported Kurdish independence recently. Was that just grandstanding, or is there any real connection where the Israelis are actually getting involved in intervening with any of the Kurdish groups?
Can everyone hear that? Those were... I'm just going to repeat the first one, then I'll get to the second one. So the first one was about whether if the autonomy can be achieved in more than one of those countries, if those two autonomous regions could possibly coexist or have some relationship that would help break down the barriers between them. Well, yes, but the thing is, the problem with the KRG in Iraq is that it's run by essentially one family. In practice it is. It's been run by the same family since the fucking 40s. Or since its advent in the 70s, the Barzanis. And I was talking about earlier how to walk across, or basically sneak across, walk like fucking this across the border, is because even though I was going across from a Kurdish-controlled area to a Kurdish-controlled area, the dynamics of the two parties really don't like each other. The KDP is super corrupt. They make deals with Turkey all the time. They fight the PKK with Turkey, and there's several of my friends locked up in their jails right now. They're fucking scum. And they fucking abandoned the Yazidis in 2015. So I don't think that there will be cooperation, but there will be. There is minor cooperation between the two, but the border's been closed since Rojava basically started. The KRG has closed the border, which means that effectively Rojava is shut off from all four sides. Actually, within Syria there is trading and stuff. You could take a fucking bus to Raqqa from Lebanon up until 2 months ago. But there is still trading within Syria, but Turkish border's been closed and the Iraqi Kurdish border's been closed. And it's because of Turkey. Turkey basically ordered KRG to close the border, and they did. And there's parties within the KRG that were against it, the PUK, for example. But the KDP totally just slammed it down. It sucks. Because there's a lot of people there that have sympathy, but the thing is the politics are controlled by essentially, this is a simplification, but one family. And there's not a lot of cross-cooperation there. I think that the masses of people obviously definitely have a shared interest and a shared, probably political will. But the leaders are not down with it. Your second question was about Israel supporting Kurdish independence. I have no idea why they did that. I think it was just I think they saw it as a move against Iran. I do know why they did it. They did it so basically to hide the tensions with Iran. I don't think that you'll find Israel as a state is actually sympathetic to the Iraqi Kurdish independence aspirations. And it was bad. And there's also a lot of Kurds, or not a lot, but about 30,000 who moved to Israel in I think the 80s or 90s or before that. I don't know the exact time because there's a lot of there's a lot of Jewish Kurds. Not a lot, but there are some. But I don't know why they did that. I think it was a bad move because it was good for them, but it's clear to all the surrounding people that's okay, Israel's the only one that supports this.
There's no formal military assistance or...
Formal military assistance, I can't speak to that probably. I know that the PUK Peshmerga was trained by Iran in the 80s. So I don't know if you switch off there, but I'm sure that there is. If the U.S. is there, I wouldn't see why not. But that was the kind of weird thing about the recent fighting in Kirkuk, is because of these two forces, both trained and equipped by the United States, fighting each other. And the United States, even though there's bases all around there, didn't intervene. And that was because the United States wanted there to be tension between KRG and the Iraqi central government, possibly because that would inflame Iraqi Kurdish tensions with Iran, which many people saw like the PMU, the Popular Mobilization Units in Iraq. A lot of people view them as like Iranian-led, even though they're just Iraqi citizens. So I think that there was sort of a strategy of tension technique on a wider scale than they used in Italy in the 70s. It's a psyop. And it takes a psyop to recognize a psyop. Anyone else? Anyone else on staff?
No one else on staff. Or you in the back, please? Yeah. Or no, sorry. Yes.
Sorry. How is the liberation of Rojava connected to the broader liberation of Syria from imperialism and dictatorship?
Well, that is the sticky question right now. Well, because also, what do you mean by dictatorship?
The Assad dictatorship
The-
and U.S. imperialism.
The Assad dictatorship?
Yes.
Well, it's not really. I mean, the top of the northern part of Syria is liberated, if you want to use that word, from Assad. There's no, there's Syrian government presidents in country, but
Conceptually, how is the liberation of Rojava connected to the broader effort of liberation that's happened in Syria since 2011?
well, I don't think that there is a connection really. There might have been one with the FSA in the beginning, but since sort of the liquidation of the I guess average forces within the FSA, the ones that weren't like in al-Nusra and such, that now that there isn't, I mean, if you think of Idlib as free, then it's definitely not because they're fighting. But I mean, there's tension between the FSA and with the Syrian Kurds. I don't think I understand the question.
Well, I mean, conceptually, we
Yeah.
as a people support the liberation of Rojava.
Yeah.
And you're saying that there's no room to build on that liberation?
Yeah.
To call for, support the popular movements that are still in different parts of Syria, even though they have been, for the most part, suppressed?
Well, yeah. I think that's part of the goal of the Syrian Democratic Forces, or PYD. They call for that for the whole country and for the whole region. Whether that'll materialize in practice, I don't know. I mean, they obviously seem to focus mostly on the north, but I don't think that they will support it militarily. But I don't know. I mean, I think that the sort of institutions that sprung up in the wake of sort of the Free Syrian movement, which is different from the FSA, like the civilian projects that grew, I think that those will continue maybe to grow, hopefully under Assad. But I don't think that there is it's not going to be the same as the north, unfortunately.
But there should be a responsibility on us to maybe encourage that wherever we can, especially as a principled leftist movement.
Yes and no, honestly. The way I feel is yes and no, because yes, you should of course encourage it in the civilian sector, but not when the goals align with U.S. imperialism, which is a lot which is to take out Assad. Then no, I don't think so.
Why do you think that the goals of U.S. imperialism are to take out Assad?
Because they've said it repeatedly since the Syrian Civil War
Even
started.
though nothing in their foreign policy since 2015 has done anything to that.
Well, aside from funding Contras in Syria, I don't know what else. What do you mean? They put sanctions on. They've funded people. They've bombed their cities to rubble. I mean, they've attacked them, not directly, obviously. I mean, except for a couple times. But yeah, I mean, I think that U.S.'s goal, stated goal, and material reality shows us that they have attacked the Syrian government. I mean, whether you think that's good or not, I don't know. I mean, it's up to each person.
No,
But
I disagree that that's the U.S.'s goal entirely.
well, that's what they're saying the goal is.
We never take the U.S.'s word on anything else. I don't know where we're taking the U.S.'s word on that. Agreed.
I don't know. I disagree. I mean, I think it definitely has shown us that reality has shown us that that's what they want. They want to take out Assad.
U.S. doesn't want to take Assad. I'm sorry. I wish.
Either that or control him.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like the American Baptist, but I mean, I'm saying it's the reality of the situation is. I think that's what they want. I mean, it's like they fund the rebels that fight them, so they're NATO allies, and that's my problem with them assisting the Kurdish forces in any way, is because I think that's what their ultimate goal is. I mean, look at what's Deir ez-Zor. The PYD YPG has never made any mention about going to Deir ez-Zor before recently. Except now that America's inflaming tensions between them and the government, they're going there. I don't know. Yeah. We can talk more after if you want.
I was just wondering sort of what attitudes were towards you as American volunteers there, and what sort of the broad response has been now that you've gotten back. I mean, what's it like getting called a spook on Twitter?
He was asking what the response to me was an American when I was there, and response to me upgrading back.
Yeah.
That sucked. That's fucking sucked so far. Like, this is cool, but the other shit sucks. When I was there, it wasn't like a big deal. The associated groups have had foreign volunteers since the 70s. PKK has, at least, which isn't associated. So it wasn't weird, and there've been foreign volunteers there for a while. And the group I was with, Bogue, was made up of Arabs, Turks, Kurds, and various Westerners, a lot of fucking Greeks. Yeah, a lot of fucking Greeks. What's the deal with Greek people? I love you guys. So it wasn't weird when I was there at all. And since I've been back, it's been weird. So I achieved like a weird level of micro-celebrity, which I've done everything to avoid. I don't think this counts as it, because I'm talking to like fucking comrades and people. But yeah, there was like trying to make a movie, which was bullshit, and I'm getting shut down. And all this, like, God, you should see the fucking shit these vultures try to do. But I don't want that shit, because that's fucking weird to make money off the Syrian fucking civil war. So I'm not fucking with that at all. Also, what am I gonna do? You know, I don't want that. I don't know. That's it.
With your punk roots and what you've done and gone through,
Yeah.
coming back, we talked earlier, you got something going on. Going forward, is that even a viable vehicle anymore?
Playing punk music?
Do you think that do you plan to bring what you've learned to the mic? And if so, do you think anyone's even listening anymore?
I hope they aren't. God, no, I just play that shit for fun with my buds. No, I fucking, no, I hope not. The question was, because I used to play in punk bands and shit, that's how I know this dude. And like, you know, Roddy and shit, he's a punk, Alyssa, talking about, if I was planning, like, sort of using that experience for that. No, I can't, you know, it's like its own thing, you know, I can use it politically, and like, that's the thing, I can use like the, like, strange micro-celebrity I have for political goals, but even then it's fucking weird. So no, basically the answer is I'm bad enough at punk as it is without confusing my head with like all this political stuff.
So you think that tree is pretty much dead?
That tree's been dead since, that tree was born dead, still born. Jesus, my bands are terrible.
Come on.
Anything else?
Can you talk more about U.S. involvement in
U.S. involvement in the present? She asked, they asked about more U.S., like if I can talk about U.S. involvement in the present. There's a lot. There are, I don't know how they do it, divisions? What's a division? It's a lot, it sounds like a lot of people, like 7,000 people. There's 7,000 U.S. ground troops there, at least, which is a shit ton of people. I don't know. And in northern Syria, and there's other ones, I think on the eastern border. Yeah, on the eastern border, with Iraq that are sort of embedded with the FSA, and there's more in Turkey that do this thing called train and equip, although that might be dead, I don't know. There's two different ways to look at it. There's CIA and there's DOD involvement. Those are more acronyms, but I think you guys all know what those mean. Basically, the CIA one funded the FSA, which was more train and equip thing, less ground troops, and who I believe also probably funded ISIS, at least indirect or most indirectly. With the SDF, they have air cover since 2016, I think, and there's ground troops there currently, and that's what makes this so like. That's what makes this kind of complicated, because while I support YPG, SDF, all that, I also am resolutely against any U.S. except myself, I guess, being there, and basically waging war in a country that they won't stick around to clean up, and if they did, they would fuck up anyways. Like what they're doing is like, I don't know if you've seen pictures of Raqqa since it was liberated, but it's fucking destroyed. I mean, you know, there was all that talk about, and which is real, like about Russia and Syrian jets basically indiscriminately bombing. And you have people on some side being like, that's just exaggeration. That was real, and it's as real as America doing the same thing. I mean, we use white phosphorus, which usually only our allies in Israel use against civilians, because I don't think we've had a chance to since the Iraq War. I mean, there's all this talk about, like, you know, Assad dropping barrel bombs, which, yeah, he did. And then we dropped these fucking smart bombs, which killed the same amount of people. In fact, we killed, I think, more people than the Russian Air Force.